So uncouth.
Why would I need a ring light? I'm just not that interested in how I look.
And also, you look fantastic anyway.
Yeah,
and
you always look
people
great.
think you've had Botox. I personally think that you haven't, that you're just like trying to sort of ant fuck everyone into saying that you haven't. But, you don't need a ring
She's
light.
just even.
No, full disclosure, I have had it, just not for years. So it's either worn off or
Good value for money. Great value for money there.
I'm just an expressionless bitch.
Yeah, cold. She's just cold.
Welcome to So Uncouth, a podcast filled with conversations you can't have in polite company. I'm Victoria Hannaford, a recovering journalist. I'm with Caroline Craig, an actor who may or may not be covered in a fine layer of fake tan.
I smell
This is a
good.
non-visual medium.
You guys are missing out.
And we're with our friend, the mysterious Bunsen burner, a self-confessed trailblazer in the world of body art. We are three friends who live in three different cities. You're joining our weekly catch-up. We're delighted you're here with us. Now, Bunsen, you did promise last week, and something's changing in your promise to come in good ratio. I think you're going to come good on your promise to give us a potted history of what is currently known as the tramp stamp.
Well, yeah, listen, in one sense, I'm coming good on the promise because I have prepared something that is vaguely related to what you call, Victoria, the tramp stamp.
No, not me.
Which is
Culture,
very important.
The culture.
Oh, very important. But it's turned into something else, which is far more revealing and interesting. So
This is a complex journey. Do I need to buckle in?
You need to buckle in.
I think I need a degree.
We did sort of also promise to rename the tramp stamp. And so hopefully this journey we're on will take in some of that, Bunsen.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Start where you're going to start.
We're going to start at the very beginning. Okay. I initially set out to discover if I, Bunsen burner, was the first to get a tramp stamp ever. The story starts in West Melbourne, 1994. Possibly at a place called the Victoria Market Tattoo. They're actually still there, and I was actually thinking of giving them a call to see if they remembered this momentous occasion.
Whether there's a plaque on the wall with your name on it.
Yeah.
I wonder if the tattoo's still there on the wall. I want number 96.
I think we should all get one to commemorate.
But I thought I'd just do a bit of background research first.
Yes, great.
And I did discover pretty quickly that I was actually not the first.
What? Ripped off.
I want you to guess who it was. One guess from each of you.
Okay.
The Egyptians.
The Egyptians.
How did you fucking know that?
The Mesopotamians.
How did you know it was the Egyptians? It was the Egyptians.
Was it really?
Egyptian women wore ornate back tattoos to protect them during and after childbirth. How did you know that,
That's
Victoria?
a great idea.
Well, it was a humbling moment for me to realise that not only was I not the first to have an idea and follow through with it, but that I was also following a very sensible tradition because, of course, childbirth is horrific and tattoos can help.
Before and after childbirth is pretty risky. Your skin really stretches before the childbirth, and then afterwards, pretty saggy.
My understanding, and I am not an ancient Egyptian, so I should just say this with that caveat, is that they didn't actually have the tattoo before or during and after childbirth. They got it to protect them. So they might have got it when, like before they were even up the duff. Who knows?
In anticipation
Exactly. Yeah.
So how late is too late to sort of claim that you're jumping on a trend? Like, I actually don't know when ancient Egyptians, like what that time period is. Is that like BC?
I'm saying it's BC. What?
So 2,000 years, you could be on trend. I don't know. Like, is a trend ever over?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think there's lots of different kind of iterations of a trend, and I think we're going to discover that more as we go through.
3,000 years.
Okay, so I just have to confess that I didn't just like know that. I Googled it.
Yeah.
Like last week before the last pod when I came to you with my damning evidence, and I had looked at one article about the history of the lower back tattoo, as we're now calling it, and it had said that.
What did they call it? I want to know what they called it. But we'll get
the Egyptians.
Sympathetic magic. That's actually what they called it. Yeah, whatever in Egyptian, I suppose.
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
I like that sympathetic magic.
Thank you, Victoria, for your contribution and also for highlighting the depth of my Googling.
mate. It's all
Your
research.
historic relevance.
We do what we can with the tools we have. I'm no critique here.
So basically this led me to realise that I was asking the wrong question because not was I the first, which is clearly debunked, but when was it first called a tramp stamp? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Did the ancient Egyptians call it a tramp stamp? You were asking sympathetic magic. No, they didn't.
No, it's a much
So
better name.
this is bringing us
Bit longer.
closer to our territory. And basically the wisdom, as according to, again to Google, is that the first trace of it being in mainstream media referred to as such was actually in 2004 Saturday Night Live skit.
Oh, my goodness. So a good 10 years later.
Yeah. And then in 2005, Wedding Crashers, Vince Vaughn had a character who said, tattoo on the lower back might as well be a bullseye.
Oh, tasty.
Yeah. And around the same time, the UK people in the UK started calling it a slag tag.
Oh,
That's so much more British. I like that. Slag
why does it
tag.
have to rhyme? I think anything we come up with has to rhyme.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
sympathetic magic.
But
Hasn't quite
basically, and I mean, I think we were sort of getting here last week. But listen, I was reaching a bit of a dead end with this kind of research. And but then it came to me as I happened to be listening to some music, Charlie XCX, because I'm very hip. I was going to play it to you, but Victoria said I couldn't, and then she said I should sing it.
Now, Bunsen, the way you say that makes it sound like I said you couldn't because I'm mean and I don't want
to pay any royalties.
you to, like, express yourself. But yeah, it's more of a copyright issue. And there is an upside. We get to hear you sing. So
yeah, come on, let's hear it.
Okay.
And is it going to bear any resemblance to the song?
Which Charlie
Let's hear it.
Which Charlie XCX song is it?
Good question. Don't know because I wasn't looking at this is the lyrics. I can't actually do this because
just read them. Just read them.
You want to guess the color of my underwear? You want to know what I got going on down there? Is it pretty in pink or all see through? Is it showing off my brand new lower back tattoo?
I just wanted to add a little editorial note that the name of that Charlie XCX song is Guess.
The whole point is lower back tattoos, man, are back. They have been back for ages. We didn't realise it. They're not tramp stamps anymore. They're called lower back tattoos. And everyone's got them. And
So you're on trend is basically what you're saying.
It's a renaissance.
What I'm saying is that we are caught unwittingly by referring to it as a tramp stamp, even though we kind of went, oh, it shouldn't be called that and da-da-da-da-da-da. We didn't realise that there's actually just
a movement.
Charlie XCX has a photo of a lower back tattoo, and do you know what it is? It's at the lower – she didn't choose it off a wall. It's just lower back tattoo written in Helvetica on a lower back, and you can buy them. You can buy them for $35. All I'm saying, like fake ones, we're just we exposed ourselves, and I think you, Victoria, because you were very accusatory in your tone, and this is really where I'm going here. We just exposed our own, we think we're fucking cutting edge. We are, we're not.
We're not cutting edge.
Thanks, Bunsen.
I feel like you, Victoria, went down the tramp stamp route, and I wonder if perhaps you have a little more Derek Blasberg internalised than you thought.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
So,
because I feel like you slut shame me for my body art. That's basically it.
Wow.
So I just wanted to point out that the person who said tramp stamp first was actually you, Bunsen.
Really?
Yeah.
She's the one who went and did the edit.
Yeah. So you were talking about Blasberg mentioned the word tramp quite a lot, just as a general category of woman, which was obviously problematic.
Be pilloried, yeah.
Yeah. And then you were talking about pole dancing and my habits, which I'm totally fine with.
Yep.
No biggie.
We've got a lot of history here, guys.
And then we were talking about fashion of the time, and you mentioned low-slung jeans and tramp stamps.
Okay, all right, okay. Listen, let's not rake over the coals here. I I think,
The
there's
specifics are not important.
There's no point in looking backwards. We'll just look
No,
forwards from
moving
this
forward.
point. But
Moving forward.
I would just,
Thank you, Comet.
I think it is time that we just have,
Put it to
all
bed.
three of us have a bit of a hard look at ourselves.
I don't mind your tattoo. I've never minded it. Sorry, Bunsen.
Okay. What do we got now?
Right. Well, it's interesting you mention music, current trends, because I recently found out that I am old.
Well, quite clearly. I mean, that's what this whole thing is about, really. I mean.
So my only defense mechanism to this is sort of being chronically online so I can sort of keep up with what the kids are doing. But obviously, Bunsen, I just need to listen to you because you know what the kids are up to with your Charlie XCX lyrics. And
I don't even know
references.
who that is. I've never even heard of it.
So in honour of this, I thought I would do a short quiz about current pop music song titles.
This is going to be very revealing.
Choose the fake one. Is it A, espresso, B, Diet Pepsi, C, marshmallow, or D, hot to go?
See, I just think they all sound great except for espresso.
You don't think that's real?
Nah.
I think it's
Okay.
D, hot to go.
You're both wrong.
Oh, no. See, I told you. It's marshmallow, isn't it?
It's marshmallow.
Oh,
So
why are people making songs about marshmallows? You know how I absolutely have an addiction to marshmallows. You should make more songs about them.
that's your opportunity.
All right. You've given me a project.
Okay, so A, espresso is by Sabrina Carpenter. B, Diet Pepsi, this is my least favourite, is Addison Rae. And D, hot to go, is by Chapel Roan. Have you guys heard of Chapel Roan?
No.
Yeah.
Are we missing out?
Yeah, because she just had this thing about kind of saying, I don't have a mutual obligation to my fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the Trojan horse of this quiz. Because, Caroline, this is actually a question for you.
I don't have an obligation to my fans. What does that mean?
It means she doesn't jive with the social contract of fame because she's not enjoying the experience of people coming up to her and asking for selfies. And I want to know what your experience of fame was. You know, when you landed on network television, what did you think?
Back in the day.
Back in the day, what happened? Like when people would come up to you and say, you're on that show.
It was pre-digital age. So people used to just drag me over to their table. And usually it was when I was in the middle of a fight with my boyfriend at the time. And
so you were happy for the break?
Well, I had to wipe some spittle off my face of rage and go over, oh, hi, how great. Oh, lovely to meet. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the show. That's so great. Thank you. Thank you.
That's why you went to drama school for 3 years. That's acting.
And then I go back and go, fuck you. I'm not paying your rent. So then
Not to the fans, to your boyfriend.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's acting.
if you're buying 3 pairs of jeans, you can pay for your own fucking rent. Or I would find it, it was quite jarring and a bit weird because it was always out. Yeah, there were various places where you go where it was, where you just knew network television was having an impact, and like in the, IGA and places like that. But if if you're out in Brunswick and Fitzroy, people weren't really watching the show that I was on.
I do remember when you were in an establishment that was frequented. It was quite a queer establishment.
Oh,
and
Q&A at the Builders Arms?
It may be, yes. And that was a place where network television was having a surprising impact because you were mobbed as, without me knowing it, my friend had become a daikon.
Yes, lesbian hero. I can see that. The cut of those jeans. Sorry, police pants.
You only stayed for approximately 7 minutes and 22 seconds. You were there very briefly. You were like,
but I had some high cut
okay.
pants.
Yeah.
You're a daikon.
Yeah.
Oh, look, guys, it's a great honour. Look, that's cool. That's very cool. And, I was happy because probably I broke it up with my boyfriend by then. So,
all attention welcome.
And these were people who were paying their own rent. And what's more, they had a lot of great furniture. I'm sure if I got together with one of them, things would have been so different. But yeah, I think it was something about being a female cop. I think that's what it was. And the pants, perhaps.
You were wearing the pants.
Yeah, well, you were a sergeant.
And the haircut. I remember when I got my hair cut, I was a sergeant.
You had a short haircut.
I ran to you. You're in the Fitzroy pool, Bunsen.
Yeah.
I went down the end of the pool. I was like, look what they've done. They've cut all my hair off.
Hang on, did they cut your hair off without really asking? It was just like, hair and makeup are just going to take care of you. And it was like snippety snip snip.
Yeah, and then I went in there and they went, oh, and it was quite long at the time, and I was,
Maybe they knew exactly what they were doing. They're like, let's butcher up and like appeal to a new audience. They needed the ratings. Queer baiting.
Well,
Were
I
you a
remember they
queer
gave me,
baiter?
well, I think they're trying to get the audience happening. I mean, and I was a pretty strong character, I remember. But I remember they gave me one haircut and then they said, you know what, she looks too much like the last girl, the last blonde, basically.
Okay.
And that was in the same afternoon. They went, okay, challenge accepted.
Buzz cut number 2. So can I just say something? So this is all on Blue Healers, right? And you came in after Australia's Sweetheart, Lisa McCune, and the character arc that they'd laid out for you.
She had a lovely blonde bob.
She's a lovely person, deserving all the garlands and adoration that she had. But so you had a really tough job. And so the idea was that you were going to have this arc of unlikable to likable in order to facilitate the public's kind of natural.
Yeah, I just don't know whether I got to the end of that arc.
Yeah. But what were people's reactions to you like out in the wild? Because I feel like people get a kind of funny sparkle in their eyes when they see someone famous, and things change, like when they recognize who you are.
Oh, yeah, it was weird. It was like I was sort of maybe in some kind of cult, and people would grab me and they'd get a look at me like, you've got to come and talk to my sister. And then they'd just look at me like, what? You do something. And then I never quite knew what to do. I had no idea what to do. I was so
But I mean, now it would just be selfie land.
And
exactly.
That's much easier though, because you take a selfie, you move on, the interaction's kind of contained.
Whereas I can imagine you perhaps even overstaying your welcome at a stranger's table.
Nowadays.
Back in the day.
No, then.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't get rid of me.
Like you get to a table, they go, come meet my sister, and then it's essentially like you've got a tap dance. What are you going to do, Caroline Craig? You are going to tap dance, and you might not know when to stop.
I didn't know what to do. I know. And then now, like I did a show last year at La Mama, and a lovely friend of the playwright director and myself, Tim Minchin, was there. And there were other people who I was chatting to in the bar, and he'd come to see our show very kindly. And people like holding up their phones going, would it be bad if I took a selfie, but he was just in the background? And we're like, yeah. Actually, that's
standard.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely standard.
But that's just like a thing, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, it's more removed, but it's more prevalent. Do you know what I mean? I can't imagine what his life is like now. Whereas it was a lot more. It was wounds. It was flesh wounds. It was bodily back in my day.
In what sense? You lost a fingertip?
Grabbed and dragged. Yeah, exactly. You have to come over here. You have to do this because like you're in their living room and you belong to them.
Did fame ever feel like something you needed to hang on to, or was it just always a random sideshow to the main game of acting?
Well, I think that I didn't ever really fully understand what it was all about. And it was a big learning curve for me because when I first got on that show, I was given all of the nasty lines, right? Well, not all of them. Some of them I had to come and go, give me that. I want that in writing. That's not good enough. And I had to kind of come in and be a cat among the pigeons kind of thing. And my character was meant to ruffle everyone's feathers and be very unlikable, right, initially, like you said. Anyway, the arc never really got off the ground.
I'd never realised there was a long-term strategy of turning you from unlikable to likeable.
Maybe
I just never got that. Yeah,
I don't know, but I remember them. I remember then sort of, bit by bit, we'd sit there in the read-through and the other actors would be like, yeah, I just don't reckon my character would say, put the pregnant mother in the prison. I reckon your character would say that. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And so then I'd just be changing my lines and then I'd be like, oh, what's going on here? Why is he really likable and I'm really unlikable? And why, and I'm just so naive and stupid. And I was like, I don't care. We need conflict. Otherwise this scene isn't going to work.
They were working on their Q rating.
That's right, on their Q rating. And then I remember I got taken in by the producers and they're like, okay, look, we just want to talk to you about Q ratings. You probably don't know what they are.
What's a Q rating?
It's fame. It's like
public perception.
Back in the day. They said, now everyone knows Tom Croyd, and these are the characters on the show, and everyone knows Jane Alsop's character, and everyone knows Paul Bishop's character, and these guys are, really well known, and you're up here too, like you're right up there. Everyone knows you, and now here's another graph about how everyone likes them. And they're up here and they're up here and you're down there. And I was like, oh, right. So everyone knows me, but everyone hates me. Is that what you're saying? They're like, yeah. And then they promised to turn it around and I never did.
That's why you weren't aware of that arc, Bunsen, because it was unrealised.
It's so weird because it's sort of like, well, everyone hates my character. Okay, that's fine. Everyone hates me. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's a very weird
Conflation.
Synthesis.
kind of metric, actually.
That's
Yeah.
network TV, though, because it's in your lounge room.
No, but it's also just like you're coming at it from, well, there needs to be a cat amongst the pigeons. Everyone hates my character.
Yeah, there needs to be a villain, right? There needs to be an antagonist.
Doesn't mean that people are going to turn off, right? That's good for the show. But
Yeah.
they are presenting it at the same time to you as you. They're presenting it to you as your character and also as you.
That's what I can never get around. Yeah, that's what I can never kind of
That's
understand.
just a total mindfuck, I would imagine.
Yeah, so maybe I'm in line with you, mate, about allowing things to the fans. I didn't really have that many fans, but cops would come up to me. I remember a female sergeant came up to me. She'd had a few drinks at this one event, and she was like, "You make my life hell." Sergeants like you who just treat everyone like crap, and we're trying to give female sergeants a good rap, and look what you're doing. And that was the day I went into the producers, and I was like, "Okay, guys, I think I need to do something."
Some rehab.
Something good. Yeah, they gave me a foster daughter. They sent me down mine shafts. They locked me in containers. Yeah, I did.
All to no avail.
Yeah. Still a bitch.
So I wanted to bring us in a different direction to something I would like to call showering a discussion.
Oh.
I really need one right now, actually. I was just in my exercise class and I noticed a nasty whiff and it was me.
Yeah, no, it's possible. All of our habits are going to come under scrutiny.
Showering a discussion.
Jesus. I think this could be a whole spin-off podcast, mate. There's a lot of content here.
There may be a part 2. So recently, actress Kate Hudson did a TikTok and said she'd just done an hour workout where she was dripping sweat. She didn't have time for a shower because she just had to go to one meeting. But what she did have time for was a very long TikTok about getting ready for said meeting. And I was like, okay. So Les Barber parodied that as well. And then I fell down a rabbit hole that started in August 2021, whereby a whole bunch of celebrities loudly proclaimed that they didn't
shower at all.
like showers. They barely showered.
Yes,
their children didn't shower much. So it sort of kicked off with Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who have sort of since disgraced themselves for reasons we'll possibly get into at another time. And they were on the Armchair Expert, a podcast run by Dax Shepard, an actor. And, we could be starting podcast wars here. I don't mind. They've got a great audience. If we have a crossover moment, that's all good. So they were all just kind of saying, if your kids smell, like, wash them, but otherwise don't worry about it. And Ashton Kutcher said, I personally wash my armpits and crotch areas regularly, but nothing else ever.
He's trying to protect his skin. He's got such beautiful skin.
I don't know about that. And because there's a lot of evidence to suggest, Caroline, that people in your line of work are not that fond of showering.
No.
Let me give you a bit of a roll call of names here. Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell, Jake Gyllenhaal,
Really? Oh, yeah.
Charlize
He
Theron,
never showers.
America Ferrera, James Corden, Drew Barrymore.
When you say not fond of showering, like, can you quantify that? Does that mean like once a week or does it mean never?
They just seem to have some looser rules. They said things along the lines of...
looser rules than what? I mean, like...
Okay, Jake Gyllenhaal. More and more, I find bathing to be less necessary.
Oh.
Charlize Theron. This is a little while ago. She was talking about Mad Max Fury Road and she shared that she'd be fine with going a week without a shower.
Oh, even out in that dirt and all that makeup and stuff.
America Ferrera said that her guilty pleasure was not showering for a few days. So we're talking about people who don't think it's necessary to shower on the daily and or after a long workout. I tell you who does like to shower, Dwayne Johnson. He likes to shower.
There's one.
Jason Momoa and Richard Marx.
He was always too clean. You know what? Maybe I'm understanding it, but don't you get a bit sticky and itchy and I don't know, smelly?
I mean, I have to say,
Or are
I
you with them? Are you with them, Bunsen?
oh, I'm on trend basically with all
Yeah,
of those. I
you've been
mean,
on trend with the tramp stamp. You've been on trend with the
Hang on.
showering.
Which
The-
trend are you
the
on? The Dwayne
majority.
Johnson?
no. Like I am a
Loosey goosey with your shower rules.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Have you showered today?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
Have I done a workout today? Yes.
Did you shower yesterday?
No.
Oh my God.
Did you shower the day before that?
Yes.
All right. Had you worked out yesterday?
No.
Do you plan on showering today?
But I did ride 20 kilometres yesterday. Just
Oh,
That's a
commuting.
workout,
right.
mate. Do you plan on showering?
32-degree day.
Oh,
Yeah.
Answer the question, Bunsen. Do you plan on showering today?
I never plan on it. It's just something I do if I sort of
If you're going out somewhere or
If the waft hits you.
occasionally I do just like a maintenance wash, a bit like Ashton Kutcher.
Slits and pits.
pits and parts.
Yeah.
Pits.
Because I am so busy and so important, it's just down on my list of priorities. Do you know what? The other night I had a shower. When was that?
God, she can't even put a date on it. Like, was it in August?
A couple of days ago. And I remember going as I was in the shower, this is really nice. I used to do this every day. That's right. Or maybe I should do it more often because it's so nice.
Is it better for the environment, maybe?
No, that's not her concern.
No.
Water saving.
No.
Let's not misrepresent this, Caroline. It's purely just like when the mood grabs you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, the last few weeks it's come to my attention that it just really seems to have, I don't know, dropped off my.
How did it come to your attention? Did someone mention something?
No, I just kind of went, oh, I think it was when I had a shower. I kind of went, geez, I haven't done this for a while.
This feels different.
Caroline, do you plan on having a shower today? You've done a workout.
I stink, and I don't stink in that like sweaty way, but in that gross, hair oil kind of way, which I reckon Ashton Kutcher and Jake Gyllenhaal would know well. Maybe even Charlize Theron. That's what I've got in common with them. But I think I probably will, just because I enjoy it and I like being clean.
At what point is it etiquette to take a shower for the sake of others?
The community. Yeah.
Well, yeah, see, I actually have virtually no sense of smell. And so I think that
That's what it
You've got
is.
like double issues there potentially.
yeah. And if I think too hard about it, I'm sure that I could tip myself into a paranoia, thing where I'd be showering 17 times a day because I can't smell anything.
Oh, so it's better to go the other
Oh,
way.
I just feel like, you know what? I'm just going to set myself free, man. Live in the moment.
What about
I know
you?
no one has asked me about my showering habits.
What about your? I was coming back. I'm circling back to the accuser,
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't even care.
the
No,
one
it's
who brought
fine.
up this issue.
What would you like to tell us, Victoria?
Nothing. But I can shower quickly. If needs be, I can be in and out in 45 seconds.
No way.
Like, it is not a big deal. I don't wash my hair because that is actually a 3-step process that takes a couple of days.
Yeah, I can imagine.
She's like a lion.
the pits and parts.
But I also would like to know, Victoria, what's your regularity?
like at least once a day.
Really? Is it a hot shower? Is it a cold shower? Because I know a lot of people who are just going cold showers these days.
Listen, if I start doing cold showers and talking about Wim Hof, you can send people round to pick me up and take me off somewhere and never hear from me again, because that is a sign that I've gone too far. Like, if you start talking about ice baths, it's over.
I know a heap of people who are doing ice baths. I know a heap of them.
The second that starts happening, the next conversation is going to be anti-vax,
Yeah.
crypto, intentional. It could go in any number of different conspiratorial directions. We've got to end it. But maybe we come back to showers at another time.
Yeah.
I think it's time for our So Uncouth of the Week. We've really put ourselves under the microscope this week, and it's time to throw the spotlight onto somebody else. So, a time capsule was recently discovered in London's National Gallery, which was buried deep in a column in the foyer of the Sainsbury wing. Did you guys hear about this?
No, I did not.
No. So it was a letter that had been typed up in all caps in 1990 by Lord Sainsbury of Preston Candover. Apparently there's more than one.
In the 1990s, was it about tramp stamps?
No. No, apparently John Sainsbury to give him his less formal name, was very critical of a renovation that had been done in that wing. There were a couple of columns that had no structural impact on the building and had been placed there. And he was so mad about it, and because he'd funded it, that he put a letter in the columns that was there to be discovered when they were finally demolished, which happened last year.
Rageful.
Yes. Apparently, it was found last year, but only reported like in the last couple of weeks. The note, typed in all caps, begins, "To those who find this note."
Can you do a really good British accent for me, please?
All right. "If you have found this note, you must be engaged in demolishing one of the false columns that have been placed in the foyer of the Sainsbury wing of the National Gallery. I believe that the false columns are a mistake of the architect, and that we would live to regret our accepting this detail of his design. Let it be known that one of the donors of this building is absolutely delighted that your generation has decided to dispense with the unnecessary columns."
I love that. Do you know what I love? Anything with the phrase, let it be known.
And dispensed with. I quite like that.
Also that it was in all caps. I think he was actually a little bit ahead of his time.
His 2 fingers. His signet ring.
Just that is known to be a shouting kind of rage.
I see.
Indicator in modern times.
In modern times, but it's also like a telegram as well.
Beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, amazing.
It is incredible. I love that kind of mix of arrogance of billionaires, because he was actually worth roughly £1.5 billion, which is 2.5 billion AUD.
Even back in those days.
Yeah, he died a couple of years ago, so he didn't live to see the exhumation of his
he would have been waiting for that.
his keyboard warrior status. I love that he just couldn't let it go. Anyone would think I had something against billionaires, but I don't have to seek this shit out. The hits just keep coming. They are ingenious. It demonstrates a commitment to petty grievance. I mean, who would commit to voicing their grievances to that extent and then airing them to be a legacy for future generations? I can't think of anyone who would do something so outrageous.
But I mean, in some ways, it is kind of the equivalent of putting someone's name in a freezer, Victoria Hannaford. I'd just like to point that out.
Or telling someone that they need to take a long, hard look at themselves on a podcast. So,
Wowzers.
Yeah, okay. Okay, all right.
Anyway,
All right.
random side note, I've got to go because I've been doing this whole thing with an unsupported boob. My bra popped out and
I knew there was something different about your performance today.
there's something lopsided about me. My morning walk got a little bit vigorous, so I got to go. So on that note, copies later.
Copy us later.
Copy us later. I love that.
So